So obviously in the news we have this EDA tax incentive program now and an ongoing investigation into it by the AG's office, and now we learned this week by the FBI. And
Yes.
do you believe that this is another piece of evidence that you can use to make the case to voters that they need to put distance on this particular organization, whose boss primarily benefited from the program?
Absolutely. And again, we're getting radio silence from our opponents. Bob Andrzak, Matt Milam, Bruce Land, they're not even discussing this issue. And this affected Vineland directly, I can tell you, with this EDA issue. And it's pure and simple corporate welfare and cronyism. That's exactly what we're dealing with here. Um, NFI, National Freight, the largest privately held trucking company, my understanding, in the world, was given hundreds of millions of dollars in tax incentives to move out of the city of Vineland and into the city of Camden. And who controls the city of Camden? We know who controls the city of Camden, George Norcross. And many other companies were given tax incentives. One of them to move from Camden County, Cherry Hill, into Camden, Subaru. I mean, it's just absolutely preposterous that the amount of millions upon millions of dollars in incentives that were given to these companies, that and none of that money is trickling down to the small little person that lives in Camden. Um, the fact of the matter remains, there was even an article called "The Tale of Two Cities," that they're building these beautiful buildings in the city of Camden, yet the people in the city of Camden aren't working in those buildings. They're not benefiting from those buildings. I mean, it's really just all, a glossy picture that's hiding the ugliness that still is the city of Camden. Unfortunately, the facts are what they are. Camden is one of the poorest cities and one of the most dangerous cities in the United States of America. And having those new buildings that are housing these companies that are getting hundreds of millions of dollars in tax benefits, really on the backs of the taxpayer, in reality, let us not forget that, is just wholly unfair and is cronyism at its worst. Interestingly enough, two of the principals of NFI each loaned $250,000 apiece to the general majority PAC. I mean, it certainly appears that there is something amiss there. Look, I'm an attorney, so I believe that you have to have a level of proof beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal case, and at least by a preponderance of the evidence in a civil case. We haven't seen that yet, but where there's smoke, there appears to be fire. And for the feds to be investigating for a second time, it certainly doesn't look good for this EDA program. And we know Governor Murphy has called for the investigation, called for a halt for some of the tax incentives. And what have we heard from our opponents? Absolutely nothing, because they'll never bite the hand that feeds them, Max. They're not going to go and bite the hand that feeds them, and that's the general majority PAC that likes to put out disgusting, vile, racist mailers.
How would you fix the program?
Well, look, I mean, I think it has to be wholly recreated if you're going to have it at all. We do have a real problem with corporations leaving the state of New Jersey. We have a real problem attracting business to the state of New Jersey, but it can't be just pure cronyism and corporate welfare. I mean, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out that why would the principals of a company like NFI donate or loan money to the general majority PAC, and then just miraculously they're the beneficiary of these tax incentives to relocate to the city of Camden. I think just we have to call balls and strikes as we see them, and we have to be objective about them. I don't really have a big problem trying to attract business into the state of New Jersey. We need New Jerseyans to be working. There is no doubt about it. And when we have hundreds and hundreds of people that get employment, when a company like Amazon that goes into Burlington County, those are good things for all New Jerseyans. But when they're benefiting on the backs of taxpayers and getting incentives because of who they know, not what they know, that's a real problem.